Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, we'll get started in just a sec. Give everyone a minute to join in. One thing I would ask is that I have the AC on in my room because it is 94 degrees here in Boston. So if you can hear that and it's annoying, please let me know in chat. I want to be conscious of that, and I can stand a few minutes of feeling warm if it's obnoxious to everyone. So yeah, just let me know. If you're joining us for the first time today, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you're a veteran of my community roundups, thank you for coming back. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's get started, why don't we? So as usual, here's our agenda for the day. I'll say we don't have an interview with a formling this month. It's been a busy time. We've had a lot going on, some of which I'll get into throughout the presentation here as we go. So it might be a little bit of a shorter session, which is fine. If we have questions at the end, I'm more than happy to hang out and answer them. If we don't, that's cool. We'll keep it pretty tight. Steve, hello. How's it going? Glad you could make it today. I know we did a Friday last time, and I'm not sure I saw you there at the last one, so I think maybe the Tuesday works better for you, which is great. Yeah, if the AC is coming through on my microphone, please just let me know. Awesome. So yeah, I'll just do a really brief intro for those of you who have not seen one of these before. These are a session we started about 6 months ago in January. Basically, the idea was we thought it was a good environment to talk about what's going on at Formlabs, what's coming up in terms of sessions and product releases, and what's happened recently throughout the last month, what we're excited about, some cool user-generated content we've seen, and I wanted to highlight things like that. Yeah, so let's dive right in. And yeah, we'll go for as long as we want today. There's that. There's me. I'll say hi. I'm Dan Kirchgessner. I'm the community manager here at Formlabs. I've been at Formlabs about August will be 5 years, which is crazy. Yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, we'll jump into some user highlights today, and I found some really cool ones, so I just wanted to show these off. And as usual, I'll mention that any link I highlight here, or anything I highlight here in the presentation, should be linked in the description down below. If I missed one, let me know. I'm happy to add it. But I'm pretty sure I added everything. But yeah, starting off today is a really cool stop motion animation artist by the name of Julian Clark Studios. This is Instagram. I linked that below as well. Looks like he's doing some character design, character modeling on our printer, which is on the Form 3, which is really cool. Definitely a use we've seen before. That being said, the really awesome and exciting thing is what you see here on the right, which is, it looks like he's built a full articulating stop-motion rig for inside these head models, but all of these pieces, I think, from what I can tell, I see some support pock marks there on the model, but it looks like all of these were done in gray resin on a Form 3 as well, which is so cool. So yeah, like 3D printed resin parts bolted together to build this rig is awesome. If you're curious, click that link down below to check out his work. As you can see on the right here, this is a video, so you can see the eyes blinking and doing all the articulating and things like that. It's really cool, and he's got a lot of awesome stuff on his page. So wanted to highlight there. I'd love to get in touch with Julian at some point, so we may reach out and see if he wants to talk to us, because it's really awesome, and we've done stuff with the folks at Leica before as well. And this is a similar thing, but it looks like he's gone one step further with his 3D printing involvement with this stuff, which is really rad. Next up is a user we've actually featured in some Formlabs content previously. Oh yeah, Leica has some really cool BTS projects on the 3D printing for stop motion. Yes, they do. Yeah, actually, I can let folks know that Leica is actually in the process of putting together a Formlabs focused kind of 3D print farm, which is really cool and exciting. So I think they're going to be doing more with our stuff, which I'm really, really excited about. They're a hell of a studio, and they're doing really exciting work. So yeah, this is a user named Jay Loomis. We featured his work, I believe, in our user summit last year, coincidentally, which I'll get to in a few minutes. But he's someone who models and then prints both real and invented wind instruments using 3D printing, as you can see on this picture on the left here, which is really, really wild and cool. If you, I'll link in the description. I forgot to do it beforehand, but I will afterwards, to the video of him playing some of these flutes and stuff, and it's really cool using resin to make kind of wind instruments, and these are sort of ocarina spin-offs, that sort of thing. Really, really cool, and we're really appreciative to Jay for working with us before, and I just wanted to feature his work because he recently posted that he did this totally invented new instrument that he's working on, which is just really, really neat. And hopefully we can have him back to show off these things and how they sound. Next up, another little cool Instagram post I found from a account called Diecast Berlin. Looks like they do a lot of cool die-cast models like this cat loader and stuff, backhoe. But yeah, so it looks like the majority of these models are done in metal, but he needed a replacement part, or they needed a replacement part for the track system at the bottom. So they did some really beautiful, really detailed 3D prints of these tracks, which is really, really exciting and cool to see. Definitely recommend their link down below as well. Check them out. There's a lot more that I did not show here in terms of pictures of this process and how small and detailed these things are. You can see the tiny little, I think it's a oxygen tank or fire extinguisher on the right that is as part of the detail. So they're wildly detailed, beautiful models that 3D printing is being used to supplement, which is exactly what we like to see. People kind of finding gaps in their work and inserting 3D printing into it where it makes sense. Yeah, Steve, it's gonna be really cool. I'm so excited to see what Leica comes up with. They've done awesome stuff. And yeah, if you want to link that behind the scenes video, I don't know if it's on YouTube in the chat or something. I'd love to check that out. I've seen some. I don't know if I've seen the one you're referring to. Next up, another Instagram. This time looking at jewelry, which is a field that I'm not super knowledgeable about, but we do a lot with it. So I wanted to highlight and show it off. These are two ring examples done by J. David Spencer Jewelry Design. Really, really beautiful work. Again, linked down below if you want to check out more of his stuff. But yeah, super awesome. You can see this left one, this sort of really blocky. It kind of inserted ring shape, has space for this gigantic kind of cubic diamond or cubic gem, which is a structure I haven't seen very often before. Really, really cool. But even more impressive, I think, is this one on the right, which has this skull integrated into the structure underneath the stone on the ring, which is really cool. So I think I assume I was trying to find which specific resin he used. I assume it's castable wax, or at least he's doing the modeling and then printing and then casting off in some other way off our models. But yeah, jewelry design is really cool. Again, it's a field I'm not very knowledgeable about, but I like seeing it. I think it's really exciting what people come up with, and it's such an insulated insulated industry and vertical and world, jewelry. So I like when stuff sort of pops out of it and we get to see what people are working on, because I get the sense that if you're not in the jewelry world, it can be pretty easy to miss this sort of stuff that people are working on. But this is a really cool example. There's plenty more out there of people doing amazing jewelry, small scale makers, things like that. So yeah, really cool. Check out J. David Spencer if you're interested in seeing more. Again, on my monthly highlights of what Adam Savage is working on, because I still find it very exciting and cool that he's doing a lot of 3D printing stuff. This project is a really neat one. He was doing a one-day build of the shoulder lamp from Aliens Colonial Marines. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Steve, for posting that. Yeah, this is an awesome video. You can see actually part of this this shoulder lamp was actually made with this intruder alarm you can see on his desk here. So you can see some cool found material stuff that, movie makers used in the 80s and 90s for making props and things like that. But I think as part of this, he needed some 3D printed brackets, things like that as well, and was able to use the Formlabs printer for that. And I think you can see those parts on the table in front of him there. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing what Adam Savage is working on and you're curious about how he's using his Form 3L, here's another great video to check out. And as usual, it brings me no end of delight and joy to see a former Mythbuster using a printer from the company I work at. It really makes me happy, and I love to see it. So yeah, apologies if this is getting annoying, the updates from Adam Savage. I'm gonna keep doing it because it excites me, yeah, hopefully he keeps using it. Yeah, and here's one. So I spent a lot of time last week or so looking around for some Fuse user content, and it turns out there's not much out there yet, which makes sense to me. People are still getting them; they're still figuring out how to use them, and also the printer itself. It's less has less visual flair, you might say, than some of our other materials or their capabilities, but it's capable of some really, really impressive, strong 3D prints. So I wanted to show this one off because I thought it was cool. This is from USNA, the U.S. Naval Academy, a space that we do a lot with, their maker space. They're an ambassador for us. We really appreciate all the amazing work and kind of stories and testimonials they've given to us over the past couple of years. So I wanted to highlight this really neat kind of ID card holder they printed in on the Fuse. So you can see this sort of grainy, sandy texture on that right-hand picture there. Here's the model on the left. And one thing I didn't realize until I had sort of dug into their post a little bit is that the clear face of the card in that middle picture was done with our clear resin, which is really neat. So yeah, not a ton to say about this one. I linked the post below if you're curious about more of what the Naval Academy Makerspace is working on. They're a great group, and we love working with them. Would highly recommend checking them out. And yeah, really cool part. It's awesome to see the Fuse used for something more day to day. We talk about it a lot as a product design tool, which it is. That is its primary use, but it's neat to see a kind of, hey, I'm going to print this and use it type of print on the Fuse. I really enjoy seeing that. That's it for the user highlights. If you've got any highlights that I didn't mention that you're aware of, throw them into chat. I'd love to take a look. I'm happy to bring them up on screen so everyone can see what we're looking at. Yeah, definitely wanna show off more. I only have so much time. Yeah, maybe some other time we can do a full hour of just going through people's cool parts and take nominations and stuff like that. Could be really fun. Yeah, this is our last main product highlight, and I just wanted to repeat it again because we haven't released anything in the interim, and I think it's still pretty fresh and worth mentioning, is that we launched a new nylon material for the Fuse printer. When the printer launched a couple months ago, it was exclusively using a nylon 12 powder that we sold. Just about a month ago, we released nylon 11 as well. Nylon 11 is a similar material, and as you can see, appearance-wise, it's pretty darn close to the Nylon 12. Still, it's kind of gunmetal gray, but it does have some differences and advantages to Nylon 12, which are worth highlighting. Nylon 12 has a high ductility, so handle wear and tear over time, pretty similar to Nylon 12. But also, it's designed to work with thinner walls. And more forgiving structures, so a little more bend without breaking, that sort of stuff. It's a great material for that. And always worth mentioning with the Fuse, there's no inert gases involved in the 3D printing process. We spent a lot of time developing the printer so that you don't have to use weird gases with it, which is great. And also mentioned Nylon 11 absorbs very little moisture and is pretty resistant to temperature, heat, light, and chemicals. If you want more details, check out I think I linked the material page below. You can get technical data sheets and safety data sheets for that material on that page as well. So if you're curious about things like strength moduluses, heat deflection temperatures, all that sort of good engineering knowledge, all that stuff is available on our website. So if you think Nylon 11 might be the right material for you, go check it out and let us know what you think. We're always curious to get feedback from people about when they try a relatively new material. So if you try it and you love it or hate it, let us know why, so we can improve or continue doing what we're doing with it. Another one, we recently did a session for kind of an overview of the post-processing process on the Form 3L printer. Huge thanks to Vicky Byland from the Formlabs Services team, who took point on this session and led it. I was around to help out with Q&A, but it was really her show, and she did a terrific job. And did a great job of sort of walking through the steps of using 3L, from getting your print ready to washing it, curing it, removing the parts from the build platform, all that stuff she covered in her presentation, as well as a preview of the Wash L and the Cure L, which are both coming out soon. Can't say specifically when, but we know it's a big not pain point, but interest point for our 3L users, that they want a bespoke post-processing solution for the 3L, and we want that too. It's on the way, and if you want a little more of a preview of what they look like and how they work, check out this session, because we give a little preview of the Wash L and the Cure L, and get to see what they look like, and it's very neat. Next up, I highlighted this last month as well, but it's worth repeating again. We just launched a really exciting partnership with Autodesk, and specifically the Fusion 360 team within Autodesk. They put a lot of time and effort into adding some Formlabs specific features in Fusion 360. So specifically things like the Formlabs printer's build volumes are in the Fusion now. As well as some support layout and generation options. If you have different needs that our software isn't fulfilling, it's a great way to get more granular control over that stuff. We recommend starting with Preform just to get a sense of how our printer likes to support parts, but once you're confident in how your part needs to be supported, what is appropriate for your particular project, and you're already a Fusion user, this is a really, really terrific way to get more control over that process. Beyond that, we're looking into adding things like material simulations for all of our resins, so you can do generative design within Fusion and test for the structures and strengths of different materials depending on what your use case is, all kinds of cool stuff. So we're really appreciative to the Autodesk and Fusion team. It was a lot of hard work, and the partnership is just getting started, so we're really excited to do more with them. And also say the website for this partnership is linked in the description below. If you'd like to learn more or you're just curious, please request a totally free sample part, which you can see here on the right. This cool like desk bag hook was designed in Fusion, printed on Formlabs printers, so it's a really good sort of summation of the partnership within one part. And yeah. It's totally free. Request one and get more information if you're curious. We'd love to have more people sort of within our ecosystem and working with software that we know plays nicely with Formlabs printers. And I'll just mention very, very briefly, I also did a webinar with the Fusion 360 team. And if you're curious about watching that on demand, go check it out. Linked below. Totally free to watch. And Jack Holmes from the Autodesk team gives a much more in-depth description of the tool set and what's in there now and what's coming soon and how it's used and all that sort of stuff. So he's the expert. If you want to get a more expert explanation of what's going on, definitely recommend checking that out. It was a good session. It was really fun. We took a lot of questions, so people were really excited and interested in the project and the concept. Now on to the big one. The Formlabs User Summit is back. I just want to take a minute and explain why this is important and specifically why it's important for this session, the Community Roundup that I'm doing right now. The reason I started the Community Roundup was because of feedback we received during last year's User Summit. We did some things like office tours during the summit and just had some lesser seen Formlabs folks from the services team and from the sales and engineering teams giving presentations, and we got a lot of terrific feedback from our audience that getting that insight into who Formlabs is as a company and who we are and what we care about and what excites us was really fulfilling and exciting, and we took that to heart and tried to integrate that as best as we could into a lot of our content we did over the last 8-9 months or so since the last User Summit. Yeah, so part of the reason I did the community roundup was because we wanted to give you more access into our community team, who I am, what our team does, all the goings on at Formlabs, the cool user generated content, what we're excited about, what we want to show off, all that kind of stuff came from the feedback we received during this summit. Yeah, we're bringing it back, which is really, really exciting. So as very similar to last year, the event is being held on October 26th and 27th, 2021. Tickets are 100% free. We really want to make this accessible to as many people as possible, and we hope you can make it. We're doing a really, really wide variety of content from more kind of thought leadership, inspiration type sessions with a huge variety of users and high-profile people at companies that are utilizing our printers in really exciting ways. Last year, for example, we had Russell Bobbitt, the head of props for Marvel Studios, do a talk about how they utilize Formlabs machines in the Marvel movies, both as set design, but also as functional parts of the prop design process. That's just one example among many of some really cool sessions we did, along with what we call Formlabs University, which is our kind of teaching track of sessions where you can learn about our entire range of materials, printers, software, hardware, what's coming soon, what we're working on now, all that kind of stuff. And you'll have the opportunity to interact with us, ask us very specific questions, the things that are hard to find a time for throughout the rest of the year. We hope that you'll come and yeah, grill us, ask us the questions that you really care about. Really quickly, I will just show off some of the stuff on this page. A, because I want to show off the hard work that our web design team did, and B, because there's cool stuff to check out on here. Let me make sure that's coming through. Excellent, it is. I realize this might be a little hard to read on the screen. Apologies, but it's linked down below as well. It's summit.formlabs.com if you'd like to learn more. But yeah, just a couple highlights of some speakers we've got lined up right now. Amy Alexander, unit head for the biomechanical development and applied computational engineering at the Mayo Clinic. Tomer MR of Tapestry and Coach Design. Digital Smile Design. Summer Decker, who had a huge hand in our COVID response through the design of the swabs that we ended up printing many hundreds of thousands and millions of all over the world. She had a huge hand in that, and we're really grateful and excited that she's coming to join us and talk about what that work entailed and how Formlabs was involved. Yeah, some, like I said, the worlds of fashion, some designers, things like that. We also have some highlights from our previous years as well, when we were at the Seaport in Boston. I'll mention, that's a good thing to mention, I should have said. This is currently a totally online event, so no need to travel anywhere. That's why the event is free. We want to make it accessible to as many people in as many places all over the world as we possibly can. And we really hope we'll see you there. We're really excited. And I'll say this page that I'm looking at now is really just a starting point. We have really just begun work. We just announced the show last week. There are many more speakers to come, many more sessions to highlight. If you have something in particular that you'd like us to talk about, please reach out to us and let us know, so we know to either do a session on that or integrate that into a currently scheduled session, all that kind of stuff. We want this summit to be valuable to you. It's the Formlabs User Summit. You guys are our users. If it's not valuable to you, we might as well not do it. So please let us know what is exciting, what you want to see. Steve, awesome, can't wait. Yes, I'm so glad you're coming, and I'm glad you enjoyed last year's as well. That's awesome. Glad we've had some folks in chat who've been around the whole year, so that's great, and glad you'll be with us again. And yeah, 2-day session. We'll have sessions from a North American focus, just because that's where a lot of us are, but we will have sessions Europe's focused and on a European timeline, as well as Asia time zone as well. So that's really awesome. And yeah, big props to our teams all over the world who are scrambling and working hard to put together a really terrific show. Thanks for listening to my spiel. I really appreciate it. And on that note, we're giving away, as part of the registration process for the show, either a Form 3 or a Form 3B, depending on your choice, if you end up winning. So to enter this prize draw, all you need to do is register. Register for the summit by July 23rd, and you're automatically, entered to win. Which is awesome. So yeah, there's a link to the registration down below. Feel free to click on it and check it out. We hope to see you there. I'll also mention, if you can't make it live to the summit, that's absolutely okay. We will record all these sessions. They'll be available for a significant chunk of time afterwards on demand, so you can catch up on whatever you missed. And even if you do come live and you just don't get to see everything you were interested in, all that stuff will be available to check out later and dig into. So yeah, really excited about that. As always, I mentioned this in all my community roundup sessions. There's a free survey down below, completely anonymous. Feel free to take it and let me know what I can do differently, what I'm doing well, what I can do better in these sessions. If there's stuff you want to see, stuff that I can show off, different type of information you want that I'm not currently providing, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you would rather it be all Q&A and no me showing off user parts, things like that. All of that is good information for me to have and helps me tailor this content to best suit all of your needs. So yeah, any thoughts at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. I read all that stuff. Yeah, let me know. Q&A. We got plenty of time for Q&A. I'm happy to hang out and take some questions. But yeah, if you have questions about printers, software, materials, you want to show cool stuff that you're working on, or just ask a random 3D printing industry question, or about Formlabs in general, I'm here to hang out, and yeah, happy to do that. And I see quick question in the thing, so I'm just going to take a quick drink. I should ask if there's someone I can make contact with about registration. Accidentally registered with a typo in my name. Had to register again. Or in your email. Okay, cool. Steve, that's very good to know. I'm trying to think. I saw Diana was in the chat earlier. I don't know if she's still hanging out. Maybe she can direct you to the right place to get that fixed. Otherwise, just ping us on like Twitter or Instagram, just so we make sure we see it, and we'd be happy to get you all squared away. All right. Question from Brezov Prut. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. Is it possible to buy 1 liter of rebound resin non-business? Brezov, that is a really great question, and one that I'm not sure I have the exact answer to right now. I think no matter what, reach out to our sales team, and if you ask that question, they'd be happy to let you know specifically, but just for the broad knowledge of everyone here, rebound resin was the resin that we developed with New Balance shoes here in Boston for use in their in some of their running shoes in the soles. I actually have one. I have one right here I can show off. Let me just make sure this plays on camera. So here's the shoe. This black sole section on the front is all 3D printed in the rebound resin. And yeah, it's great. They've been a very comfortable shoe. I've done a lot of walking and running in it. The only stipulation, as you mentioned, is we are not allowed to use it for anyone else designing shoes. Basically, New Balance is contractually allowed to hold that property of the resin. That being said, I think there are ways you can get it. So yeah, I would reach out to our sales team and ask. Worst case scenario, they say no. But I think you can get that sorted out. Don't quote me on that. I'll also say there are some other considerations when using rebound resin. It can be a pretty tricky resin to use if you sort of go in blind and treat it like any other Formlabs material. It's really viscous. It requires some specific temperature considerations, I think. None of this is to say it's impossible or don't do it. I'm just mentioning out loud that I think it has some weird caveats attached to it, but definitely worth reaching out and asking. Cool. Looks like Diana's here and sorting that out. That is fantastic. Steve, also curious about the resin wind instruments that Jane Loomis makes. Is it generally considered safe to use Formlabs materials in a scenario where there's regular contact with skin and mouth? Great question. I meant to mention that earlier, and it just slipped my mind. So yeah, there are still considerations about that, and we still don't recommend putting your mouth on resins that are not designed to be put in your mouth. Basically, if you thoroughly clean it, and obviously he at this point has a pretty firm understanding of the safety procedures involved in that stuff. It's probably not going to cause lasting damage. That being said, it's not something we officially endorse, but it's his work. He's allowed to do what he wants, basically, and he's producing cool stuff. That being said, there may be announcements soon about biocompat on some of our non-medical materials, which would be really exciting to help sort out this exact thing. But it's a great question, and I think, yeah, if you take into consideration some actual cleaning and just really thoroughly making sure you are putting your mouth on a clean bit of resin, it's probably okay. But yeah, we say steer clear of that as best you can. It's a tricky thing, you know. We would not recommend in a situation where, like, really strongly, where you're like heating something up, like using it as a hot drink receptacle. Something like that would be really out of bounds for what we recommend. But yeah, I guess it's a sliding scale, and yeah, we don't officially endorse what he's doing, but also I like to show it off, and it's cool. And yeah, everyone is allowed to work on what they want to work on. Yeah, good question. So yeah, the 3B compatible resins like our dental and medical, all that stuff, for the most part are fine to use for that purpose. And yeah, I'm not. Yeah, actually, he may even be using dental LT or dental surgical guide, something like that. So he may even be adhering to that in a way I'm not aware of. But yeah, he's doing really neat stuff. Really quick, I'm gonna see just while we got a moment here if I can find the video he did for us last year, because it's worth seeing. Yeah, great question, Steve. Biosafe coding is a really good question, and yeah, I if anyone knows of something like that out there, I'd love to know about it. I don't have anything off the top of my head as a, hey, you spray this on a resin, and all of a sudden you can touch it and put your mouth on it and that sort of stuff. That's a great point. I'd love to know if that sort of thing exists. I didn't find the video, but I'll at least put this into chat here. Opening the chat on a fourth computer in front of me. From my personal account. There you go. Aaron Christensen says, the Form 3 at my workplace was busy when we first got it, but it has been absolute turbo driving the last month or so, running almost 24/7. We've had almost 0 failed prints. Amazing. Good to know. I was waiting for the but in that sentence, and it didn't come, so that's really exciting. Almost 0 failed prints, and we did have them. It was our fault. Hey, it happens to the best of us. It certainly happens to us at Formlabs too, but that's really exciting. Aaron, what do you guys do? I'd love to hear more, and why you've been in Turbo Drive the last month 24/7. Yeah, I'll say anecdotally, like, we never want people to buy a Formlabs printer who won't end up using it. You'll often hear around our company, like, our worst nightmare is a printer ending up in a closet dormant. And we'd rather someone just not buy a printer at all if they don't think they'll use it. And so yeah, long-term consistent use, like 24/7 churning, is that's the dream for us. So that's great to hear. Yeah, would love to hear about what you're up to. That's rad. Yeah, I'm trying to think if anyone has any other kind of news from the 3D printing industry that you've seen recently. I know I saw some cool desktop metal prints, a really beautiful tetrahedral kind of spoke design unicorn model. When I was hunting around for some parts on Instagram last week for Formlabs stuff, I stumbled upon that, and yeah, as usual, another Boston area 3D printer company, Desktop Metal, is doing really dope stuff, and I love seeing the whole industry. It's fun to see how people are pushing the boundaries forward, and yeah, what they're working on. Close that. There we go. Yeah, and if folks don't have any more questions, that's totally fine. I really appreciate everyone who joined me today. I saw folks coming in and out and watching, which was great. As usual, check this out on demand as well. It'll be up almost immediately right after I finish this. Aaron, here we go. We are manufactured in the Northeast. We have a very high number of unique parts, so it's hard to create a super polished process for any of them. Awesome. That's yeah, you're a living example of our kind of main bread and butter use case for 3D print for the Form 3. So that's really exciting. Little tools taking workload off of our machine shop. That's awesome. What a cool thing. Thanks for sharing that, Aaron. I'm really excited to hear it's been working for you. And glad your printer's humming along. Most Form 3s I've heard of have been wildly reliable and haven't had any significant problems. So great to hear yours is one of those. And hope you're surviving here in the Northeast. It is 94 degrees in Boston right now, so a little unpleasant. Cool. Well, with that, I'm happy to close it out for the day. But again, thank you so much for everyone who joined us live, or if you're watching this on demand, thanks for checking it out. Really hope to see all of you at the Formlabs User Summit in October. Like I said, totally free. Registration link down below. Go check it out. And yeah, hope to see you there. Oh, here's Tomer. We have great results with our 3L, and we are super excited to serve more customers internally. Tomer, that's awesome. Really glad to hear that. And on the 3L, I'm so glad 3Ls are getting out into the world. It's been a long time coming. I love seeing parts coming out on that. People are doing really awesome parts, and yeah, if 3L users are out there and you have some stuff that you're curious about and you'd like us to cover it during the user summit, definitely let us know. I think my colleague Diana put a good email address into the chat a few minutes ago when Steve was asking about his question. That is a perfectly appropriate place to email us about suggestions as well, if you're curious, along with things like registration issues, whatever you got going on as it relates to the user summit. Definitely email us there, and we'll happy to get back to you or take on suggestions. But yeah, thanks everyone so much. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your week.